Productions, the Cultural Preservation Station. Tune in. Tune in. Hey yo. Black education, cultural preservation. Tailored BeeTV, but cause elevation. Tune into the station, we rockin' the whole nation. That's right, we rockin' the whole nation. Prep the new generation for mental activation. Tailored BeeTV's the new sensation. Stop the hesitation and learn something new. My girl Taylor B's here to show and prove. Terrorist shit.
Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, family. I want to welcome you back to Cultural Reflections, the podcast that brings you positive reflections of the culture. I am Queen Bee. I want to welcome everyone back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, guys, go ahead and hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more exciting and informative content that we have coming up this year. And we have a great show for you today, starting today with the Universal Supreme. Of course, that's us. This is season 2, episode 12 of Cultural Reflections. Also, if you missed the previous 11 episodes, do me a favor and go check them out here at this link. We have a lot of special people that we interviewed over the last season, and you don't want to miss any of that. So make sure you guys go check that out. Thank you so much. All right, family, prepare to be electrified, uplifted, and completely captivated as we welcome the one and only Drama Ganza to the Cultural Reflections podcast. She is a multi-talented artist that is a force to be reckoned with. She blends her gifts of songwriting. She's a recording artist. She's an actress. She creates dynamic and unforgettable performances every time she takes a stage. Her passion radiates from the depths of her soul. Drama Ganza is on a mission to entertain, inspire, educate, and leave a lasting impression on all who experience her art. Her unique stage presence and infectious energy have the power to transform any room, drawing audiences in and leaving them craving more. She is more than a multifaceted performer. She's a savvy businesswoman who navigates the industry seamlessly, balancing the creative and practical aspects of the craft. She has such hits as Bougie Cool, My Gift to Gab, Girl Next Door, and then Drama Ganza won the honorary award of songwriting from Billboard. Now she's here on Cultural Reflections to share her journey, artistry, and driving force behind her success. Universal Supreme, get ready to be thoroughly edutained as we dive into a captivating conversation with the one and only Drama Ganza. I want to say Queens up and welcome to the Queen Drama Ganza. Thank you so much, Queen, for being here on BeeTV Cultural Reflections. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Queen.
Wow. Thank you.
Peace and love, Queen.
Peace, love and light.
Love and light. Thank you so much for being here. It's really a pleasure to have you here on Cultural Reflections. As you know, this is the podcast that gives back positive reflections in the culture, and you are definitely that, Queen. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a positive reflection in the culture. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the questions, Queen. Can you share the story behind the name Drama Ganza with us, and tell us how it reflects your artistic identity?
Well, the name behind Drama Ganza was derived from the word extravaganza. So I was calling myself Miss Drama when I was younger, and then I just didn't want it to have a negative connotation. So I wanted to figure out what could mean bigger than just drama, a deeper aspect, and that was to add the Ganza. So when I was looking in the dictionary, it just popped right out, and I was like Drama Ganza instead of extravaganza. So it just worked, and in relation to my artistry, it encapsulates my stage performance. So I always like to leave the stage. I like to leave the audience with wanting more and actually feeling good after I leave. Like, oh, wow. So that's my thing. If I could just affect one person in the audience with that, then I've done what I've come to do. So, yeah. And that's in relation to that is why the artistry, I feel like, pairs with the name. I love to perform. So first off, that's just a joy of mine. Performing is like it's like an alter ego, because if a person meets me, I'm kind of laid back, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know, when I get on stage, it's like, is that the same person? And that's the drama. So it's I guess it encapsulates who I am as an artist. The name, it totally describes what I do when I'm on stage.
I agree. I think it totally encapsulates you as an artist and it really the multifacetedness of you. You're multi-talented, multi-dimensional. So I think
Mhm.
that name really it says it all, and I think it fits you well, and I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for telling us about that. Now, you grew up in Milwaukee. Tell us about that environment growing up in Milwaukee, and tell us about how that has impacted your overall journey.
Hmm, that's a great question. Milwaukee was hmm. Nobody's ever asked me that question. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Uh, Milwaukee is where I where I was shaped, I believe, where I was formed and
Mhm.
shaped. Uh, I think we moved there when I was about 7, and my mom. Most of my family is based in Cincinnati, so my mom kind of she was out there by herself almost. So uh, we stayed in the hood. Uh, those were good times. When I think about
Mhm.
when I think about Milwaukee, I think about how when I was 9, I learned that I wanted to do music, and how I just started to get dance groups and come up with different songs and ideas. And that's where I knew I wanted to be an artist, when I was watching Apollo one time, and I was like, oh wow. So mostly I stayed in a house. We were close to home type. My mom would
Mhm.
keep us close to home, kind of sheltered almost, because of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not the most safest place you want to raise children. Just down the street, with some pimps living in, and you seeing the activity. So it was just kind of it was all I knew at that point. But it did shape who I am today, and it helped me hone my craft when I started to meet people who were doing music as well, and started to
Mhm.
click up and kind of be challenged with the way that the flows go, or how the writings are, and just a lot of performances, a lot of uh, shows, a lot of creativity there, just pulling from my atmosphere. Um, yeah, it was whatever you could think of. We were near it.
That's dope. That's dope. And a lot of what you said reminds me of another entertainer that was a really famous, one of the most famous entertainers in my purview, Michael Jackson. He said the same thing that you said, and he also came from a small town, and he made it obviously to who he is. And he had some of that similar things going on. And he always said that we could see that in him off stage, kind of quiet, reserved, laid back. But when you guys get on stage, you're born for it. It's like to me, I think some people are born for it. Some people they want to do it and they have to work at it. And some people, even the people that are born for it, still have to work at it. But it
Mhm.
just comes natural to you. And I think that that's cool because that tells me that you're in the company of greatness. So I think that's excellent, Queen. Tell me, Queen, what or who inspired you to pursue the career of music and songwriting and acting? Who inspired you? Who or what? Or was it a thing or just you always felt it?
I could always write short stories, and I think when I learned about hip hop, I was like, "What is that?" You know, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I saw Showtime at the Apollo. Now, earlier years, my mom and my aunt would sing in the mirror, and when they would leave and
Mm,
go out to the club or something, I would mimic what I saw them doing. So like a
mhm.
performer in the mirror by myself. And of course, I'd
Mhm.
run back to my room when they come back, like I wasn't doing anything.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
but I think that seeing seeing like the brat, and seeing uh, female rappers, it just looked just so cool. right? And my mom, she used to braid hair, so she had a lot of clients. So in the basement, the clients would come, you know, and wait to get their hair done, and I would be the entertainment sometimes. So it helped me to, one, not be shy, and seeing Apollo, I wanted to be on the Apollo, so that was actually my dream. I said, okay, I want to be on Apollo, and so because I saw those different rappers on Apollo, I thought that that's where I needed to be to show that I can do this. So that was the inspiration. I liked Mary J. Blige. I think around that time it was just heavily based on music and creativity, just the world in general. I think because those songs and those, like, what is the name? I used to always be in these different talent shows. I didn't know where this came from, like where my pursuing music came from. I just always could know I could sing and dance. So I guess it just aligned somehow. I didn't have anyone right next to me coaching me through it, and it was just all self motivation for me to dig and do what
Hmm.
I love to do. I found solace in creating. Hmm.
That's great, Queen. That's great. So, who do you listen to, Queen? Who's in your playlist right now?
What's gonna be, well, gospel music. Gospel music. Tamala Mann, Hand on Me in particular. Ooh, that song could get, ooh, have you heard that song?
Say it again, Queen.
Hand on Me by Tamala Mann. Have you ever
Okay.
heard that song before?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I have heard that song, and she is
I
a
just
powerful singer.
I just heard that song and I'm like, wow. I like Ari Lennox as well. I like her. Uh, I
Hmm.
like I like SZA. I like her. I like Miguel as a songwriter. I love his songwriting and arrangements. Uh, I like just good music. I don't have a particular, believe it or not, I don't even have a playlist. I just let music catch me
Uh,
where it catches me.
you're too
Yeah.
busy working.
Yeah. When I hear a good song though, it's funny. When I hear a good song, I have to stop. I can't do anything. I have to stop right where I am and just take it in. I can't continue like some people, they might clean up when they're listening to music or something. Like I gotta have some music on. If I hear some music, if I put it on the radio or something, or Spotify or anything, and I hear something that I never heard before, it stops me in my tracks, and I start to think about how they came up with the
Mhm.
idea and the formation of the song, and that's how I am with music. It's just really in tune. Hmm.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense with your numbers and all that. I'm not going to get into your numbers, but it makes sense. That makes sense to me. So I think that's phenomenal. And I like that you listen to good music. Your style kind of reminds me a little bit like a Lauryn Hill. And I think I say that because you sing, you have a beautiful voice, you sing and you rap. And obviously you have your own artistic trajectory, but
Hmm.
I just think the overall style and feel of when I listen to your music, that's what it brought me back to because that's she's of my generation of
I love her.
that type of
Yeah,
artist. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's
Lauren.
who you remind me of. Yep.
Mm.
That's why I was like, this queen is on fire. I was like, I gotta get her on the show. And
That's
then when
right.
I saw that you did the I Am Somebody, I'm like, oh, she's definitely gotta come on. So
Hmm.
we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all that. So describe your creative process, Queen. Describe the creative process and describe like the messages and themes that you set out to convey through your music and your performances.
My process of creating, they come sporadically. There's not a set schedule where I sit down and say, okay, I'm about to create. Uh, I allow um, I allow it to come to me naturally. And then when I'm there, most of the times I found that I'm in the bathroom when I come up with a hook or something like a chorus
Hmm.
or a bar or something. I'm in the bathroom. So the bathroom is where I is where I kind of, get some basics down at. But overall, once I find an idea, um, I like to think about the message. So
Hmm.
to me, when I started, I didn't give too much thought about what I'm putting out, as I grew more mature, I start to think about the responsibility that being a messenger comes with. And so
Mhm.
I always want to leave someone with a feeling of experience after they have heard my music or saw me perform. So that experience, I want to be a good experience each time. And when I write, I try to include feelings, people's feelings, just so they can so it can be relatable. And I like to think about different aspects and different moods. That really helps me write. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm a natural storyteller. Uh, so I think that the process overall is spontaneous, it's sporadic, it's not a calculated sit down and do this unless I'm hired to go write a song or something and I know that this is what
Mhm.
I'm here to do and I need to do this. But for myself, I'm just like, as the ideas come to me, I'm just kind of vibing with them, and if it sticks, I know that that's something I need to pay attention to. Now, if I get tracks
Mhm.
that are from, if I get tracks from a producer who is just like out of this world, if he's playing tracks for me and I'm not, um if he's an extraordinary producer, meaning his talents as a producer is like vast, he's not like boxed in. Not he or
Mhm.
she, I don't want to say he. If they're not boxed in, then I know if I want to freestyle to it, I know instantly that that's the song that I want to write. But if I don't feel
Mhm.
a tug of start freestyling, then I'll pass that song somewhere else. I wouldn't work on that track. So it's I guess it's kind of calculated. It definitely has something to do with how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Doesn't tug at my emotion, I don't spend time on it. I'm just like, nah, I can't force.
Wow.
I don't want to force anything. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. And I think you get in the bathroom because usually you're by yourself when you're in the bathroom, right? Usually you
Yeah.
don't have a whole bunch of company in the bathroom. So that's probably the place where you get in tune with spirit and spirit kind of talking to you and giving you those
Hmm.
ideas free flowing for you. So that makes
Sure.
sense too. So I think that's cool. And it's cool that you recognize that and you know that's the place that it's
Hmm.
usually happens. So keep a
Yeah.
little pen and
Yeah.
pad in the bathroom with you.
Right. I used to sleep with a pen and pad. That changed, but the bathroom is
Yeah.
my go-to.
The bathroom's to go to. That's awesome. I
Uh,
love it, Queen. I love it. Very dope. Very dope. All right, Queen. Let's talk about your stage presence because I watched
mhm.
you perform, and
Yeah.
you really have a very awesome, energetic stage presence. To me, you are really a natural. As soon as you
Mhm.
get that mic, your energy I just see it turn on, and you're just like, the crowd is with you, and you really connect with the audience. Tell us
Mhm.
how that feels, first of all, and tell us what you hope to evoke from the audience and the fans when you are performing for them.
That's a great question. I think because I started when I first started, I was watching the Apollo and wanted to be on there.
Hmm.
It showed me that I need to perform my best. I need to come with the best showmanship. If I'm in a crowd or if I'm on a mic and I'm looking into the crowd and nobody is moving their heads, I would get very nervous if that would happen. That's
Hmm.
not happened to me. I could get stares like this, like that, like
Like they're mesmerized.
yeah, and so I have and so it makes me channel my channel my girl next door energy. Like, what's up? You
Hmm.
know, what's going on? How you doing? I'm
Right.
cool.
Right.
I love to talk and get the crowd involved because it's a two-way thing. You know, it's a
Hmm.
put your hands in the air. I want to see interaction so we can stay, you know, there's a journey I'm taking you on and I need to know that you're
Yes.
with me. If not,
Hmm.
I'll stop the show and we got to figure out how we can recalibrate it so that we can get back into the groove, you know. So if I was in a room full of people and I'm performing and nobody is feeling it, I probably I don't know what I would do. I don't.
You that wouldn't happen because you're so magnetic. It's just a part of your energy. I think that's a part of it. It's just your natural
Mhm,
spirit, your natural
mhm,
affinity to be artistic and
right.
really hone in on that. And you really do need to feel that energy from the crowd. And they give it to you every time. I
It's a
think
beautiful thing.
they can feel it. Yeah, it's like energetic and synergetic with them, with you.
Oh
Um,
yes, at the same time. It's a fuel. I love it. It's like a high when I get on the stage. I just
yeah, definitely,
absolutely.
definitely. So talk about it. You're a multi-talented artist. How do you
Mhm.
balance everything? How do you balance the business with the creative aspects of your artistry?
It was definitely a learned behavior.
Mhm,
It wasn't anything natural
mhm,
that I know of. Took some time because at first I put myself in a position where I would just continue to do music and neglect my personal responsibilities. And as an artist, it's
mhm,
easy to do that
mhm,
because your first instinct is to create. It's not to organize most
right,
times. So it's the right and the left brain. So it's like, let me just go write a song. When you know
mhm,
you need to do X, Y, Z. And it's you
right,
putting it on the back burner. So you're not really actually balancing yourself as an artist. So I think that that came with me seeing like, hey, you gotta, what you doing? Tighten up. Tighten up is getting sloppy on the personal end. You killing these shows. You're showing up all over the place. You promoting. You everywhere, but your home front needs attention. You need to balance, get firm, get grounded, and
mhm,
being grounded, it lends it lends a plate for more because when you're not grounded or balanced, the plate can be overwhelming because you haven't taken
mhm,
time to taste things. And I had to learn that, which I'm at a great space now. I feel like I'm in a great space now. Things are coming at a pace I can handle. I used to pray that God wouldn't give me too much too fast that I couldn't handle. And
mhm,
um, then I pray like, okay, I'm ready. Whenever you're ready, I'm
mhm,
ready.
right,
Come on, universe, give it to me. Whenever you're ready, I'm
mhm,
ready.
mhm,
So I do feel like I'm at a point where I'm able to juggle things without being overwhelmed. Because you can get
good,
overwhelmed if you're an artist and it's always seeking the limelight, seeking fame or
yes,
seeking attention. And it's easy for promoters to pull you and say, hey, you wanna get on the mic? It's easy to say yes to that without thinking.
right,
But if you know you got a light bill, you need to figure out how to negotiate this show that you're finna do because you know you're about to entertain this crowd. You know that
mhm,
they're wanting you in particular because they know what you can do. So, as an artist, you got to put on the business hat, right? And say,
yes,
okay, listen. Okay, I would love to do your show. Yeah, I may not be on a level of so and so, but I know that you can tell that I have the capability of being there. So, would you mind, because you've offered this platform for me to do for free, would you mind paying my light or not paying my light bill, but give me some
yeah,
money, give me something. I
a
can't continue
contribution, yeah,
to do something. Let me see where you
mhm,
are. And then a lot of times, Queen, you can kind of tell, you can say, well, does this person really appreciate my artistry?
mhm,
Because if they did, they would have some sort of honorarium set to the side for me. Or
right,
you have to make it make sense as an artist, especially when you're so passionate and talented. Some people are passionate and may not have as much talent, but their work ethic is great. But at the same
right.
time, you have to realize the value that you bring. So I think that comes with the balancing as well, not running every open mic that's wanting you or every show that's wanting you. It's pacing yourself. And so I've learned to do that pretty good, I think. I'm in a good space.
That's dope, Queen, and it's a testament. It sounds like you're really walking in your path and you're learning the
Mhm,
lessons that are set out for you to learn through your journey. And that's
mhm.
what's important. And you're doing a damn thing. So I applaud you. That's why I wanted you to come on the show. Really,
Appreciate
truly are positive reflection in the culture. And we need more people doing more positive things like some of the things that you have embarked on.
it.
Talk about the journey, about like blending the education with the entertainment, and talk about the word, I feel like you coined that phrase, so kudos to you. I'm a queen myself that likes to blend words and make acronyms and make, make new words out of words. So I love edutainer. When I saw that, I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, I feel like I'm an
Yeah.
edutainer too. So yeah. So talk about
Yeah.
how you came to that first, and then I'll do a follow-up. Talk about the edutainer and how you came to that.
Well, I when I thought about the project that I have, uh, I used to be a reading interventionist, right? So I
Mhm.
taught children how to read from first through third grade. So the best way for me to show them how to read was rhyming words. So
Mm.
I needed to impart some aspect of entertainment in educating them on how to read at their grade level or above.
Mhm.
So any I'm a natural learner. Like I'm a natural student of learning, a lifelong student, like I love to learn. So education is important to me. And I wanted to think about when I brand myself, what am I based on? I'm based on education and entertainment. Those two things go together. If I'm just hanging out with friends or somebody and I know something, I share the knowledge, right? But at the
Mhm.
same time, I can entertain. So I wanted to marry those two words because together they hold such substance, and it just describes really who I am in every aspect. I'm an entertainer and I educate, and I didn't want to always have these long things after my name, like blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's
Yes,
just
I understand. Yes. I feel your pain there.
yeah, it's like, you know what? Let me box that thing up and put it like that. So that's really how I came up with those
That's
two.
brilliant,
Mhm.
Queen. Very brilliant. I think that's a testament to your just to your makeup, your astronumeric makeup that I know it. So it's
Mhm.
really, kudos. It's futuristic, so it's right up your alley. So I think it's
Mhm.
great. So now that we've gotten that out, obviously, that was a big part of the history is a part of me. Talk
Mhm.
about the history as part of me. It's a book that's focused on Black American inventors, and then you have a theme song that you wrote for children. I think that's associated with that book, right? So talk about that, Queen. Talk about that journey and what brought you to that and all that. Talk a little bit about that.
History is a part of me. So what's unique about this particular project is that this song was written way before the book, right?
Mm,
The book came from the song. So I created the song, and when we talk about journey, because we can't tell the future, we are guided, right? Each of us are guided,
mhm,
right? So for me, being open allowed this book to come to fruition because
mhm,
I was signed to a record label before. The record
mhm.
label closed, and
Okay.
we all had to go back to where we came from. All of the artists had to go back to whatever state they came from, and this was a particularly hard time for me because I had thought that I made it, right. So I thought that, oh wow, I'm here. We're getting per diem checks and we're traveling and recording and all over the place, right. So when it closed, I had to go back to school. I decided to go back to school to learn how to do audio and video production because now I'm like, this is not happening to me again. Nobody is going to
Mhm,
be able to just cut my light off. And I know that I'm gifted enough to you know be all that I was called to be. So I just decided to create my own record label. Now, when I got to I took a certification in leadership management, and they asked me, we had to do a business plan, and the business plan was mine was a studio to create a recording studio. So the guy was like, "Oh, you do music?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, have you ever wrote a song about Black inventors?" And I'm like, "Uh-uh." It never crossed my mind to think so far left from what rap was known to me to be. You know what I mean?
mhm,
So because he sparked that small little seed, I could have said no, right? Like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know who invented. I don't know.
mhm,
But I took on the challenge, and when I tell you, when I started to see all that we have created, it was a feeling, a huge feeling came over me, right? So I was like, dang, I feel cheated. Nobody's told me these things. Why is these things being hidden from us? Why when I go to the library, these things are in the archives? This is real stuff. This is
Right.
serious stuff. This is going down the rabbit hole to kind of check dates to make sure what I was given to go off of was accurate. It was just like I didn't want to leave the library. I started to see so much, so many things. Like it began to be a heavy. It was a heavy type of load to carry because I knew that I
Hmm.
would be embarking on something that I hadn't seen anybody embark on before. So this was the song, though. Keep in mind, right? I'm
Hmm.
getting to it. Bear with me.
Oh, you cook, Queen. You cooking. You are
Cooking.
cooking.
Let me cook. So yeah, so it's a song, right? So the song ended up years later, right? When I moved to LA is when the idea was turn it into a book.
Mm.
Ironic part of that is that I would have never thought to even create the song. I would have never even thought to reproduce this. I had never released the song, but people were reaching out saying, "Hey, remember that song we heard? Can you send us the lyrics to it to do it in our program?" Or and I wasn't as an artist, I wasn't thinking about the the significance or the demand that something like this has. It wasn't
Hmm.
in the forefront. What's in my forefront is the music that I like to do. The hip hop
Right.
music. I like to spit. I like to just, you know, braggadocious hip hop. Just
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking like educate anybody or you know what I mean? It just didn't
Right.
it didn't go that way. So after getting quiet and looking around and saying, okay, God, what's next? Because I'm not seeing the fruits of my labor. I feel like I'm sowing on good ground, but I'm not receiving the things that adds up. If I look over my career and look over the journey, all of these things and all of this work I've put in, what am I not doing? Right?
Hmm.
I'm like asking the question, like, give it to me. Tell me what it is. About a week or so later, I got an answer, and that answer was create the book. I was very scared because I never created a book before, but I stepped
Hmm.
out and said, okay, it couldn't be too much different than releasing music. It's marketing,
Hmm.
right? There's content, there's subject matter, everything is in here, and I said, you know what? I took that song and just created a book out of it, and then from the book came the animation. So just so that children could kind of grasp it early, because for me it was like,
Yes.
how am I almost grown or at this grown age and don't know about inventors? That is
Right.
embarrassing to say the least. It's like, what, you don't know? Not everybody is taught this information. So the sooner we can get it to the babies, the better, because they can see a self reflection that is positive of them, right? They can see that, oh, I can be that. Oh, really? So now when they go
Yeah.
to the thermostat, they know that somebody like them came up with that. So what can you do? What can you do? You can think much more than you've been taught to think. There's
Right.
no box. Your thinking cannot fit inside of a box. So it's been a beautiful journey to have that song transform into a generational tool. That's
Yes.
essentially what it is. And it's afforded me different doors that I wouldn't imagine. And I do believe that it came from me being selfless in serving. So it's not self gratifying to teach others about their history, about confidence, about seeing a need and filling the void. So it removes me out of the equation and says,
Hmm.
I'm going to empower you. I'm going to ignite and inspire you to be all that you can be because it was done before. Now, granted, you may not have seen uh, uh, people who look like you in authoritative positions, but it's okay because we were behind the scenes building this whole thing. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So although
Yes,
they're in the
Queen.
forefront, understand that we are the
The
balance of it all. We
foundation.
are
The foundation.
absolutely. That's it. Yes, yes.
We are the
So that's
foundation, Queen.
the foundation. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's been my mission, and these doors been swinging open because of it. And it's because when you give, you get, right. The more you give, the more you receive. And to me, babies and old folks, they're my jam. Babies and old folks. If I can be around some babies, like teaching them this and see how their eyes pop open when they see that, like, whoa, just to see that is
Yeah.
gratifying. It feeds my soul. And then to hang around
Hmm.
older people and they see it, they appreciate this so much. The older
Hmm.
generation, they're like, listen,
Yes.
this, I'm supporting you. This is, what do you need? And it's
Right.
just, I'm grateful for where I am.
Wonderful.
I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
grateful for where I am
It's
right now.
amazing, Queen, and I take my hat off to you.
Uh-huh.
As soon as I seen it, and I'm like, this is a. I'm going to just put it up on the screen, guys, so you can look at it. This is the history as a part of me. This is phenomenal. You guys, it's phenomenal. What the Queen did
Yeah.
here, and like she said, we all know the basis of this whole show, Black Education Empowers True Vision, speaks to this. It's talking about this, albeit little kids this age probably aren't watching it, but this is what
Mhm.
we need to do. The Queen's doing exactly what we need to do. Get to the babies, get to them while they're young so they can grow up with that knowledge and grow up with that understanding that they don't have to be in that box and they can use their abilities, skills to do what they need to do,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever poverty they're living in or whatever the
Right.
circumstances is. So this is just phenomenal work, Queen. My hat is completely off. You are the most positive reflection. Really, honestly, this is really phenomenal work. And people need to be aware of this stuff. They need to be aware of it. And we need more of it. Hopefully, this inspires other artists
Mhm.
to do things similar to this.
Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant to turn a song into a book. That idea was actually presented to me in around 2022 because I also have an EP. I'm
Mm.
not quite the artist like you. It's not my main driving force, but it's something that I love to do because I'm also a multifaceted person too.
Awesome.
So that was actually presented to me to do with some of my songs. They're like, pick two or three of them and make a story and make a book out of it.
Mhm.
And I thought that
That's
that's
so
great.
good.
And you went on and you did it. So you've inspired me here with that. And you're
Good.
inspired so many others, and you're really doing it to uplift the community. And that's what this is about. That's what the show's about. That's what
Yeah.
our whole existence should be about. Based on our
Mhm.
history, we need to be trying to work toward a better future. And you've taken the first step by teaching the babies this important knowledge and information. So thank you for that positive
Thank
reflection, Queen.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Thank you,
amazing.
Patricia.
So let me ask you, you work with a variety of institutions from schools to churches.
Mhm. Mhm.
Talk about how you think these spaces can further integrate activities or positive things, positive reflections with their programs to empower the youth.
I think I want to understand your question better. Can you repeat it?
Mhm. Yep. So talk about how you work with a lot of churches and schools. How do you think that these institutions can further integrate any type of program or positive cultural reflections to reach the youth and empower the youth? What do you think these spaces could do that you might see them not doing that can really reach the youth?
I think that there should be more programs that they're open to receiving, as far
Hmm.
as people who are in the youth space who are helping and looking out for the youth, like camps and things like that. I think that
Hmm.
sometimes parents rely on students, I mean the teachers, to teach the children what they should know, but it really truly takes a community and a village. So when you
Hmm.
think about churches and institutions, the children they spend a lot of time there,
Yeah.
and it can get redundant. So if there's nothing that's sparking their imagination, it'll be boring, and it's easy for them to they're not, their attention spans are like this.
Right.
So having programs or having things in place, having artists come through and kind of just speaking to them to offer some sort of motivation and inspiration is always good, because it
Hmm.
breaks up the monotony, and they have something to look forward to, and they have something to reference when it's time for them to show up as their best self. So as a reflection, it's just, I believe it's necessary. We can't rely on the school systems, right? So a lot of
Right.
time churches and group settings are vital, even in helping them with daily living things like home economics and learning the basics of plumbing or just a trade in general.
Hmm.
We're missing that as more as technology advances, we're missing the hands-on things that are very important as well. I like AI, but I feel like a child should be exposed to more than just AI because it's digital, right? So at any time the system could just self-destruct. But what can you do with your hands? Gifted are those with their hands, right? So how
Hmm.
can you how how can you teach a teenager how to make a basic meal? There should be, to me, there should be structures that are built to help us create family and community settings and reliance on each other, on one another, bartering system, and just knowing that, okay, uh, she can sew, she can cook, he could paint. How do we integrate as youth, as children, like creating a
Right.
scene of them saying, okay, now you're out into the world. Just imagine this, you're an adult, and now you have to have some things done on your house. You've been cooking all day, grease is on the wall, you need a painter. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, call this guy over here, he can paint. It's just creating that real life, to me, that real life thing that gives the children experiences. And if they could go to this place, to this church, or to this youth organization, and they know that they'll be fed up here different than what they're fed on these phones, because this is subjective. You could
Yes.
go and do whatever you want to do on this. If there's a
Right.
structured way to say this is going to advance you, you'll be more advanced once we go through these things. So I think programs like that are for the community, set up to build and empower the community, you can't go wrong. And I think we need more people in powerful positions to kind of push that agenda, because that's the agenda we need to be on right now. How to survive
Right.
outside of everything that's
I
going on.
agree.
Survive. Yep.
I agree with that 100%, Queen. That's an
Yeah.
excellent, excellent answer. I agree with that. I think if, like, especially the churches and different things like that, start changing a little bit of the program, start bringing in artists and bringing in things that the kids can relate to, that they're
Mhm.
interested in, that'll pull them in. And
Mhm.
then, like you said, get the cooking class going, get the painting class going, give them
Mhm.
these skills, build these skills up within the community, because like you said, A, we can't depend on the schools. B, the schools aren't teaching our kids that anymore anyway. Schools have been
Mhm.
taking like home ec out. They take all of the arts and music and different programs out, and if the child doesn't go to like a technical school, they're not going to learn those technical things that they can do with their hands.
Right.
And a
Right.
lot of our kids can't,
Mhm.
a lot of our kids and our families can't afford to go to a college.
Right.
So Dr. Umar talks about that. I've talked about that on my show before, about our
Mhm.
community really
Mhm.
embracing the tech schools and embracing those technological schools after high school,
Right.
to go get a trade instead of
Yeah.
going to a 4-year college. So, but if we could
Mhm.
do that and build them up in a community within our community centers and
That's the
churches and
unity
stuff,
that we're
that
missing.
that's
That's
the
the unity
unity that
that
we're
we.
missing. Yep,
Mhm.
the connection, the unity,
Mhm.
and the learning model and the discipline model. Because if you do that, you're going to have men there. A lot of the men aren't in the home, so you'll have men there that are helping
Right.
them to build that character up. And so I think it's an all around
Mhm.
good answer, and it's a good thing. And hopefully we can see that evolve into that. I
Yeah.
know there are some that are doing that, so the more the better. So that's a great
Yeah.
answer, Queen.
Because
So
we
let's
have
talk.
small.
Oh, go ahead. Hmm.
There was a big like splurge of or surge of young people giving birth, right? So
Hmm.
if they're young and they haven't had the life experience to raise a child, or then they're not gonna see the importance of why these things matter. Sometimes it's
Right.
not gonna be in the forefront. So that's why it's important that even in these community spaces, when you see a church, you see elders, you see teens, you see all of these different generations. And I think that's the
Hmm.
important part, to have all of these in
Yeah.
a room together so they can learn
Hmm.
interchangeably. That's
Yes.
that's that's what I think is missing.
I love
Mhm.
that you said that. I really do, because there's something to be said about when you expose children to the elder generation.
Mhm.
You know, they're really learning that line from the old wisdom, you know. So I
Right.
think that's really important to get those generations together, and they
Yeah.
can learn from each other, and the young kids keep the older people young. They keep them
Yeah,
young at
it's
heart.
joy. It's nothing but
Yes,
joy.
joy. Yes, and it's like a symbiotic relationship that really is needed and missing in our community.
Yeah, I agree.
You
I
know, a
totally
lot
agree.
of the youth don't even respect the elders these days. So, it
My
really is
goodness.
something to be said. Yeah,
Have to have an etiquette class. That's first. And it just cringes me when I
absolutely.
see that happening. I'm like, ooh,
You're like,
you want
who
to yank
raised
them
you?
up.
Yeah, like who raised you? Absolutely, Queen. Absolutely. Let's get
Mhm.
into your some of your accolades, Queen, because you've done so much and I'm very proud of you.
Thank
Queens up, that's queens understand their power, queens understand their position, and you definitely are a queen
you.
that does that. So definitely
Thank
queens up to you. Now you've been recognized by organizations such as the NAACP, the
you.
Obamas for your community work, which doesn't surprise me about you. Can you share a moment with us where you felt your cultural contributions were really truly making a difference? Was there a moment that it really hit you like, oh my God, what I did really made a difference? Can you share a
Yeah,
moment like that with us?
absolutely. There were two moments.
Okay. That
To begin
I'm
with,
listening. I'm not surprised to that based on your astronumeric makeup. I'm not surprised there were two moments. But go ahead.
I think the very first time that I performed the song, uh, there was something in my spirit that said, "This is what you're supposed to be doing." It was like an enlightening thing. I was at a school in an auditorium performing for the school my history song, and the way that those children were like listening and tuned in to what was happening, it was amazing. One of the children, one of the young black boys, which I always reference him because excuse me, because when he was asked what he thought about it, he was just like, if these inventors did this when they had so much heavy weight on them, how much more could we do now that we're free? That was a pip, that moment right there. I was like, oh my gosh, he gets it. Even if nobody else get it, he's gonna be somebody, I believe. Like that was so good, right? Another
Yes.
part was um what other part was it? Not well, being recognized is always good for being recognized for what you do. I think that
Mhm,
when we do things and we're not putting ourselves as the driving force, it always helps when we kind of just
mhm.
allow nature to do what it does and put us in front of people. Just I can't explain how many people I've been in the room with because of this book. Um, Another thing was when I did a book tour, I was tired. I was I think I was in Vegas. I was on a book tour and I was in Vegas. And uh I think I was sick. It was February. I was sick. I wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, I had did a radio interview and I was telling them to meet me at the spot. And I really didn't want to go because I was
Mhm,
so worn out and tired and just, but I pushed my way to go anyway. And then as
mhm,
we were shutting down, there was a soccer mom in there. She came with some of the children from her daughter's team. Two black people were on the team, two black children. And as I was talking about the book, they didn't have the answer for what my questions were, but the one girl kept saying, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King. She kept saying Martin Luther King, and it wasn't Martin Luther King. It was many others,
Martin Luther
right?
the King. Martin Luther the King. I think that was a skit or something. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. But this,
Just joke. Go ahead, Queen.
but that's what she kept saying, and I kept having to let her know, like, no, sweetheart, it wasn't him. But
Mhm,
this little girl was white, and her mom was white, and she was mad because she couldn't get the answer right, and she wanted to be the leader of answering the questions right with the privilege that sometimes it allows. And it's like,
mhm,
no, these are you're talking about civil rights. These are inventors. And so she's like, well,
yes.
I'm ready to go, right? And now, mind you, I'm
Mhm.
already sick. I was just like, okay, because that attitude, I didn't need that extra on what was going on, right? So
Right.
they left, but then as I'm packing up, there was a young woman running up with a van with children in it, and it was like, oh my gosh, like
Mhm.
had I not went, I wouldn't have met them. They're like, hey, we want to get, I don't remember how many books they got, but they got a lot of books. And they were like, we heard you
Mhm.
on the radio and we rushed over here. And I'm like, it wasn't
Aw.
all in vain. It wasn't all in vain. And
Yes.
to this day, I talked to her. She's a sweet person. I'm so glad that we connected that way. And so I think doing like podcasts like what you're doing, it can connect so many people. Like, had she not
Yes.
heard me on the radio, the media channel, maybe she
Mhm.
wouldn't have come and I wouldn't have been able to be in the hands of other children from different
Yes.
organizations. But us meeting at that time and at the time of me being weary, feeling like it's I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
It's why I'm doing it. I'm seeing change. I'm seeing that it's necessary. I'm seeing
Mhm.
these people jump to greater lengths to get it in their hands. And when they see it, they're so appreciative of it. And it just says, thank you, God.
Mhm.
Because had I not even was obedient and listened to the voice say, make it a book, I wouldn't have gotten where I am today. And
Yes.
impacting so many young lives. It's about the impact for me,
Yes.
me
That's
aside.
beautiful, Queen. So beautiful. Such a beautiful
Yeah.
spirit. A
Hmm.
beautiful positive reflection, and that's what this is all about. You know, you're really walking in your purpose, Queen, is all I can tell you. And I know something about that. I know something about knowing energy and understanding energy. And like you said,
Hmm.
balancing, my big thing is balancing energy. So
Hmm.
you are really doing it. Just
Yeah.
congratulations for everything that you've done. And I really thank you for really leading. You're leading this in us into the 21st century. You're leading our
Mm.
kids to a future that they can be proud of, to a
Yeah.
to a present that they can be proud of.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's all about. It's all about the babies. It really is about the babies. So tell us, Queen, talk to us about, you successfully used hip hop. Now you're an edutainer. You successfully combine these things to teach and inspire children. How do you think the music and creative expression can be leveraged, like, to promote this more? Like, you're obviously an inspiration. What do you think we could do to get more people on this board, and get
That's a
them
good
to know to
question.
understanding this? Yeah.
That's a good question. I like that question in particular because I was thinking about it one day and I was thinking like um, music speaks to different people different ways.
Hmm.
When I was talking about messaging, I no longer felt comfortable calling myself a bitch in rapping. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
I no longer felt I didn't feel a connection to that anymore. So I
that's
had to
so
say,
powerful.
yeah, I had to think about that and say,
Hmm.
I have nieces that, you know what I mean? My nieces and nephew, they look up to me. And for me, it's
Hmm.
important to have music in a brighter light than so much darkness that it can be. Because
Hmm.
one of the schools I went to, I was teaching a songwriting class, and I was asking them of their favorite artists. And when I listened to the music, it was like, these people are really saying this stuff? Kill myself. And I'm like, no, it is a detriment to us to
Hmm.
have this type of music playing, being heard. You get what I'm saying? To each his
Yes.
own. I don't knock anybody from what they're doing, but I do know how this industry can play on young artists. I
Yes.
understand that totally, and I understand the agenda. So when your
Hmm.
question to your question, I think more activism. Like
Hmm.
we have to stand up to the different channels that are pushing it out. And like say, hey, if you're going to play this music, at least have a good balance of it, and give us
Right.
more Kendrick, give us more J Cole, give us a more balance in their face.
Give us
Don't
some
just
more Drama Ganza.
right now.
That's a mic drop right there. Give us
That's
some
right.
more Drama Ganza. Hold on. Give
That's
us some
right.
more drama. Wait, we need more Drama Ganza. We need more Drama Ganza. Hold on. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's it. That's
Yeah,
it. To
that's
be
it.
vocal. We got to be
Mm-hmm.
vocal about
Yep.
what we allow our children to hear because
Yep.
it affects them one way or another. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I want to, and mhm.
I want to do my part. And I want to challenge other artists to do their part. Like make it well rounded. Have a balance. You know, you have to have some inspiration, some good days. We're not all
Right.
always trying to kill each other and do
Right.
these drugs and go dark. Bring some light. I think that's my responsibility too that I chose to take on. Bring light to the music.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
you're
the least
doing
I can
that.
do.
I think I've seen Cardi B, not to, talk about her or whatever in a negative way, but she was playing her song and I guess in her kitchen or whatever, and then her baby girl came and walked up and she hustled to go run and turn that music off when her baby girl walked up. Now my thing
Mm,
is I get that you're an entertainer and I get that we got to have party songs for people in certain different genres of what people like. But if you have to
mhm.
do that when your child comes in, you probably shouldn't be playing that music for anybody. Like you probably shouldn't be making music like that. So I do
Yeah.
think it's a testament, to personal character. And that's also
Mhm.
going to be coupled with what will you go through? What will you do, based on what the industry wants you to do? Like, how much it's like to me, that's the definition of selling your soul. So, like, if we even
Yeah.
don't talk about, oh, it's a real thing where you sign with a devil or something like that, that's right there. That's selling your soul. When you have to make music like that just for money that you
Right.
don't even want your own kids to hear. But when they
Right.
get older, they hear that. So, what do you think? They're not going to be able to know that you made that music once they're older? So,
Yeah.
if you can't show it in front of them and be proud of it in front of them, then you shouldn't be doing it because even though parents should be more responsible with what their kids listen to, we all know that parents can't police their kids 24/7. And we know the
Right.
kids, they're going to listen to the radio. So at the end of the day, it's the artist's responsibility for that. So I
It
think,
sure is. It sure
you
is.
know,
At the end of the
you're,
day,
hmm
it's an
and
inner
you're right.
choice.
It's an inner choice, and it's more and
Hmm.
like you said, more activism, like what we're doing here with this
Hmm.
podcast, making a positive reflection, showing positive reflections, and just
Hmm.
being responsible with what we put out.
Right.
Because the babies are watching, and just like you said earlier in this interview, that you would go and mimic your mom and your auntie when they were singing
Hmm.
in the mirror, and look where it got you. Kids
Hmm.
mimic. Our kids don't do what we tell them, they do what they see us doing. So,
Right.
the community gotta understand that. So, that's my soapbox on it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do
Yeah.
more. There definitely has to be more activism in the music space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, tell us what advice you would give to other young aspiring artists that are coming up to navigate through the industry part of hip hop and the music industry.
I would
What's
say
some
first,
advice?
I would say I would say first understand who you are. You have to understand who you are first so that you can, after knowing who you are, know what you want to present or what, like, kind of like you're saying, like, what are you putting out there? Where's this coming from? Everything stems from inner. So know that if you're an artist, you were entrusted with a gift. Be careful with that gift. The gift, it's sacred. Your gifts are sacred. They're given to you to give. So you have to have full responsibility of the way you are distributing it. I can talk like this now, but I had no knowledge of this when I first started. It was just I wanted to be a hip hop artist. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to do these things.
Mhm.
Ironically, my goal to me making it was getting on the Apollo. I just wanted to be on Apollo. Well, after I got on Apollo, after I did that, it's like what next? Right? So there's always a next to climb.
Mhm.
There's always a next to do. There's always something extra. So it's not like you ever, success is a lifelong thing. You have, once you know who you are, you need to figure out what success means to you. What is it? How do you measure it? Because it's immeasurable. Success could be me turning on this laptop. I was successful. I turned on a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what what do you want the world to know about you? Who you are as a brand. It's very important. How does your light shine? Do you have integrity at night? Are you stepping on people's toes to get where you're trying to get to just because you want to do something? Like, does it feel good for you to mistreat people? Does it feel good to you for you to just do things that just don't equate good character? You
Mm.
know, who are you? That
Right.
question is so important because somebody can make you who they want you to be. When you're in this industry, they're there to mold you.
Mm.
Your thing is to be likable, right? First, you want to be likable. If don't nobody like you, you're not going nowhere. they, that's one of the things that you got to get in your mind as well. So if there's an
Mm.
inner light in you that shines, let it shine, and nobody can block the shine. You know, you can't. The sun is the sun, right? The sun is the
All
sun.
day.
There's nothing blocking the sun. When it's time for it to shine, it's gonna shine.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't rush it by stepping on people's toes or backdooring people, or just treat people how you want to be treated in this industry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
first, once you know who you are, make songs that reflect that. Write songs that reflect exactly who you are. And at the end of the day, can you sleep with who you are or who you're putting out, what you're putting out? And then know your value. When I say know your value, I mean don't be taken advantage of just because you're so passionate about it, because that could lead you astray. If I'm from the hood and you flash a $50,000 check in my hand, now a $50,000 check is not a lot of money, but to a person who does not have $35, and they say, hey, but I need you to talk about this, and I need you to sag your pants way down to your knees, and actually I need you to run around in your boxers, or actually I need you to put on some panties now as a man. I want you to.
Mm.
They are manipulating you because you don't know who you are. Because once you know who you are, you'll know what you'll stand for. That's
Mm.
very important. It's very important to know who you are so that you can equate your value to a higher being, to a higher standard. You know, so I just think navigating is one, treat people how you want to be treated after you realize who you are, and put out the music that reflects who you are. You can't lose that way because there's no lane for somebody else to be in your lane. You'll be in your own lane.
Mm.
I think I did good with creating my own lane.
You
I'm
did.
okay with my own lane.
You did
And
great, Queen.
it wasn't.
You're the model for it.
Thank you. Definitely not
You are.
overnight. Took some work. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still.
Yeah.
You're right. Every day.
Yeah. We're always still students in life.
Hmm.
There's always something more to learn. And
Right.
nobody is the knower of everything. You might be the best knower of certain subjects, but no one's the best knower of everything. And there's
Hmm.
always something more to learn and grow. So I think
Right.
that was a beautiful advice. It's a great answer, beautiful advice,
Hmm.
beautiful spirit, beautiful
Yeah.
artist,
Mhm.
beautiful soul, beautiful positive reflection that you're giving back to the community. So important, so needed. Talk about what's in store for you this year. Anything that you have coming up this year that you want to share with the audience?
This year, I hope to create a space, maybe like a musical space where I can impart on a larger level instruction to artists about the basics of the music industry. So, like right now, I do one-on-ones, but I hope to expand that community so that I can reach more people, and just teach them. Some artists, when I see an artist that is younger than me and they're very hungry, I can see how they can be misled because of the passion.
Hmm.
And so I just want to be that person that helps them to expose their inner light and to let them know that you can still be an artist without being a superstar. You can still create a career out of it without having to have the fame. because I want to tell you, I don't have a lot of fame. I've been on TV shows and stuff, but I don't have a lot of fame. But when you're in the public and people are coming up to you and you don't know who they are, that's a sacrifice. You're
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing your personal space. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
in positions like that before where I'm like, and I'm forgetting that, hey, you've been somewhere, and it's like somebody is gonna recognize you. But to me, fame is, I can do without it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I just want artists to know that don't think that because you're not the superstar, you can't get money from your gifts, because your gifts will make room for you. I'm a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe that me creating this space where I can impart motivation and help them understand the basics of the fundamentals of the music business. Because sometimes it can seem a little scary. Because like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, we're creatives and we want to focus on creating.
Right.
We don't really think about the business and how that works. So if I can make that simple for another artist, then that's what I would want to do, and teach them how to be compensated and monetize their gifts before they get a deal or before they find a manager. Just let me help you a little bit.
Right.
That's
Let me get you this guidance.
yeah. Let me sprinkle some sparkle
Just
on you right
tap
quick.
'em.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. I love it, Queen.
yeah.
Beautiful. That space is needed. And I know that you'll do it. You're already doing it now. So
Mhm.
that's in your forefront of your minds. I know you'll take those actionable steps to
Yeah.
expand that network, that one-on-one into the community space. And I'm sure there, like you said, you're going to have people that are going to be willing to help you with that. Might be someone you run into that has a building that you can hold the space
Mm.
in. I think it's definitely something that can be done. And I already have some ideas for you that I think people that
Okay.
I'm thinking about that could hook you up with where you're living at now, where you could
Okay.
really maybe capitalize on some of that. So we'll talk about some of that offline, obviously.
Oh
But
yeah.
I want to really just right now, first of all, let me clap it up for you. Right.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Queen, for everything you're doing. You are really a positive reflection. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're the epitome of the positive reflection in the
Mhm.
culture. You're doing the work that's needed for positive changes. You guys, make sure you support this Queen. Make sure you go check out her song
Get
and
this
check out this.
book. Get this
Get the
book.
book. History is a part of me. Get the book.
You
Get the
won't be
book.
disappointed. You won't be
And
disappointed.
listen,
You'll appreciate it.
everybody has kids. Everybody got kids. Get this
Hmm.
book. Get it for your grandkids. Get it for the
Right,
church. Donate the
right,
book. I'm
right.
going to be buying a couple copies because I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So I'm going to be buying some copies of the book to give them
Okay.
as gifts.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
definitely going to be doing that, Queen. I'm definitely
Okay.
going to be doing that. And I just want to really thank you so much for being here. This has
Thank
really been
you.
eye-opening. I think, a lot of people are going to be very pleased. Her website is dramaganza.com, dramaganza.bandcamp.com for the music. Go follow her and subscribe to her YouTube and follow her on Instagram at Drama
Mhm.
Ganza. Make sure you hit the Queen up. If you want, let her know. Seen you on Queen B's show and
Yeah.
let her know what she's doing is phenomenal, guys. Let her know about how much you appreciate the positive reflection that she's putting out for our youth and really setting the stage for the 21st century for Black America, because this is what we need. We need to be educated, empowered, and motivated. And you're really doing all of those things for us. So I just want to thank you so much.
I need
I'm
the
going to go.
support. I
Yep.
need support from the whole community. I need
Yes,
legs to keep that this thing stand. So I appreciate you, Queen B, for even, reaching out to
absolutely.
me and seeing and even just because we didn't meet before, we never met before,
Nope.
but we were just following, and I appreciate
Hmm.
you for even wanting to have this space open for us to have dialogue. It's important, and I think that we'll be in touch for years to come. I appreciate
Oh,
your spirit, and I just thank you for that.
absolutely.
I hadn't been on an interview in so long, and so it's been a while because I kind of took a break from music to do this
Hmm.
book, but this full
Hmm.
circle is coming around, and you setting it off. So here we are.
I love to hear it. It's my year to set it off. So I love to hear that, Queen. I'm grateful for you for being open and responding to me. And really, just you understand, some of us get it and, some of us unfortunately don't. And hopefully we will one day. But we have to support each other. At the end of the day, guys, we're family. We're
Mhm.
foundational Black Americans. And what the Queen is doing, she is setting the stage for our kids. She's showing them that foundation, the one that we didn't get in school. So please support this Queen. She's a part of the Universal Supreme. She's a part of our network and she's going to be back on the show. And, I could have had you on any one of my podcasts and it would have fit Cultural Reflections, which is
Mm.
the positive reflections. You could have came on my hip hop hour. You're a hip hop
Oh, okay.
artist. So I might bring you back in the spring for hip hop hour.
Okay.
So obviously you're part of family now. People
Mhm.
know when you come on BTV, you're family for me. And that's the way I am. I love my people. I love my community. And that's why I do it for no other reason. So this is what we're here for. And I just appreciate you so much, Queen, for everything that you're doing and
Thank you.
continue to be great. Keep
Right. Thank
exuding
you.
the greatness, keep pushing and keep empowering and edutaining the youth. I love
Mhm.
that. I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
I
All right.
appreciate you.
All right. Peace, Queen. So I just want to again thank the Queen Drama Ganza so much for being here on BTV Cultural Reflections. She is a positive reflection in the culture. Make sure you go support this Queen. Peace, Queen.
Peace.
Queens up in your hood because it's essential. Triple the investment, stocks and bonds, build a nest egg. Comfortable life, seed safe at the rest place.